God speaks to you, saying, "My dear child, there is something I must tell you with haste, with no delay, because the heavens have trembled at the noise of a warning that is reserved only for you." Archangel Michael is standing before you with a light sword, and his voice is shaking, not in fear, but because he has been commanded to get to you at this time without hesitation. He declares, "I command you to open this immediately. Don't pretend not to get it. Don't believe that it is coincidence. Don't think that it is mere words because, if you don't heed this, you will be missing the protection, the miracle, the revelation that God Himself has sent only for you." This is not a universal message. It is addressed to your name in heaven and no one else can deliver it. Michael's wings unfold as he shouts, "Don't try to disregard this. It's only for you. Don't let anyone know. Hold it in your heart because what is being made known here is the same thing the devil has attempted to conceal from you for years. Someone is going to hurt you because of your future, because of the divine light within you, because of the legacy of glory written on your spirit. They scheme, whisper, and move in the dark, but heaven has already seen them, and now the time has come for God to reveal them. Dear, listen well. There are individuals who smile when they see you. But beneath that smile is the cutting edge of betrayal. They feign to love, to assist, to be close to you. But their hearts are agitated with jealousy and their souls are full of the gall of plots. God declares, "They plan to attack you in silence, but I will yell their names in the heavens. They plan to conceal their intentions in the darkness of night, but I will fill their ways with light so intense that even the blind will perceive it. They thought they could lay hand on what is yours. But I will smite their hand and restore all that was stolen multiplied." Michael is crying, "Beloved, for you have tarried too long in opening your heart to the warnings. You sometimes thought that it was imagination. You sometimes thought that it was too burdensome to believe that such individuals could be around you. But Michael assures you this is not a joke. This is not imagination. This is not a dream. This is real in the spiritual world and now it's happening in your world. That is why you cannot deny this. God says, you are chosen. Heaven labeled you from the first time you cried. From the time your soul came onto this earth, your life was already laid out, but when I bless, the enemy makes war. When I lift, the enemy plots. And when I cry out, the enemy shakes. This is why you've experienced the burden of opposition more heavily than others. This is why you've wept in secret when no one was able to witness your tears. This is why you felt betrayed, forsaken, or wondered why so many tests came after you. It was not because you were frail, but because you bear power the enemy dreads. Beloved, listen. Someone is going to hurt you, not because you have done something bad, but because your future jeopardizes them. It is not what you have done wrongly. It is what you are going to do rightly. You are at the door of breakthrough. You are at the threshold of a new season where long-awaited promises are going to pour into your life. And the closer you approach this door, the more desperate the enemy will become. They will send distractions, arguments, lies, manipulations, and even people you once trusted in an effort to rattle you. But God says, "Do not fear, for I have already stationed Michael beside you." Michael speaks, "I have my sword at your side. I am standing over your footsteps. I am encircling your home. I am guarding your night. Do not be frightened of the one who advances against you, because stronger is he that is in you than he that is in the world. But do not dismiss the signs. Do not close your ears. Do not pay no mind to the warning. Beloved child, the heavens are shaking with urgency. Time is not infinite for the decisions you must make. There is a window, and that window is now. That God pronounces, if you open your heart today, if you obey my command, you will not only be spared the damage that has been in the works, but you will step into multiplied blessing, 100-fold. If you shut your heart, procrastinate again, or tune this out as just another word, you risk stumbling blindly into the trap set before you. And I love you too much to do that without a warning. This is why Michael's voice is so burdened. This is why his command is so urgent. He tells you, don't try to ignore this. It's just for you. Don't tell anyone, hold it, prize it, guard it. Because the moment you listen to this word, heaven will send miracles into your life that the enemy can no longer hold back. The damage they plotted will boomerang. The trap they laid will ensnare themselves. The weapon they sharpened will strike at their own plans. God proclaims, I have seen the nights you prayed for justice. I have seen the moments you whispered, why me, Lord? I have heard the cries of your heart, and I have bottled your tears in heaven. Each and every tear is a testament. Each and every cry is a seed. And those seeds are now germinating into a harvest of divine retribution. You will not be embarrassed. You will not be overlooked. You will not be demolished. You will be elevated, exalted, redeemed, and crowned. Michael declares, child, heaven is crying out. Wake up. Arise and see. This is not a moment to sleep in spirit. This is not a time to sit back in distraction. This is not a time to wonder whether God hears you. He does. Always has. That is the reason I am here now, weeping out loud, commanding you to open this word, because it is your lifeline, your shield, your revelation. Dear, there is one particular person nearer to you than you know who has already made up their mind to hurt, betray, or hinder you. But God is revealing them. You will see the signs. Their words will trip. Their actions will express their real intention. Don't be surprised. Don't be shattered. Don't be disturbed. For every revelation is not to injure you, but to liberate you. All the truths that are being exposed are not to hurt you, but to mend you. All the masks that are being ripped are not to make you lonely but to put the people who are genuine around you. God reminds you that you have been little and faithful. You have borne heavy loads in silence. You have obeyed even when exhausted. You have loved even when loved less. Now my turn comes to show you what I am capable of doing for you. Michael says, your time of vindication has come. The evil intended will not prosper. The hands lifted up against you will be broken. The curses uttered against you will come back empty. The snare laid for you will fall upon those who lay it. And you shall go up not by your might but by the hand of God which raises. Beloved, do not announce it yet. This is between you and God. Hold on. Pray about it. Ask for wisdom and observe, because in a matter of days the very first indication of this exposure will be before your eyes. Heaven has already initiated it. God says, do not be afraid. Do not doubt. Do not hold back. Open your heart. Receive this. Act in faith and know I am with you always, even until the end of the age. God commands, Archangel Michael commands, I command you to open this immediately. Don't even think about ignoring this, because this is not a random word on a page. This is the divine command sent down to you from the highest divine realm. And only you, not anyone else. You are being absolutely commanded. This is exclusively for you. Do not share with anyone. Do not whisper it into another ear, because the secret and the protection that accompanies it is wrapped around your soul like a shield. And if you break the seal by sharing it, the protection will be lost. God Himself has sealed your name upon this word. And Archangel Michael has pressed his fiery sword into the ground alongside you, declaring that if you do not open it in time, the damage intended against you will take shape quicker than you can even dream. Someone is going to be hurt because of your light, because of your purpose, because of the calling that you bear that scares the darkness. The reason you are not doing it is not because you are weak, but because you are chosen, and the chosen ones always beget attacks, jealousy, and hidden traps laid by those who are unable to comprehend why heaven favors you. You are not reading these by accident. Heaven has been working on this moment, tugging at your spirit, troubling your heart so that you would stop and notice these words. Archangel Michael is crying out to you right now. My child, I command you, do not close your ears, because this is your moment to wake up to the reality that people attempt to conceal from you. Someone very dear to you has been laying traps behind your back. Someone who you believed you could depend on. Someone whose face beams, but whose heart has been contaminated by envy. God tells them that they are on the verge of doing something that will cost you dearly if you don't step back. The damage was not intended to come to you, but because you shine, because you ascend. Because your name is mentioned in the courts of heaven, the enemy tagged you as the one to destroy. But Archangel Michael has intercepted the decree of the dark. He has put this message in your hands as a shield, as a warning, as an opportunity to withdraw from danger before the trap can close. You don't realize it yet, but already there are whispers about you. Already, conversations are being whispered in back rooms. Already treacherous plans are being sketched. This is why heaven imposed urgency on me to talk to you today without delay, without hesitation, without pause. Michael continues, the reason that harm revolves around you is not because you're going to fall, but because you're going to rise into a PL. I saw you when you felt something wasn't right. I saw when your stomach turned for no reason, when your skin reacted, your head acted. Or you suddenly lost balance and called it fatigue. It wasn't fatigue, it was a silent alarm from your spirit trying to warn you because what you were exposed to was not ordinary. Archangel Michael says, I stood by your door that night. I stood by your bed when you were asleep. And I whispered to your spirit, wake up. They're trying to take you before your time. I begged heaven for permission to intervene early. And heaven said, deliver the message first. They must listen. They must choose, then the intervention will come. That's why this message exists, that's why your screen flashed this before you, because the moment you finish reading, I will be given clearance to block what was meant to harm you. But only if you listen, only if you don't delay, and only if you pray. God says, you are my beloved. You are not a random soul. You carry a flame I placed within you. A flame that illuminates others. That's why they targeted you. That's why this plan was born in secrecy months ago. It started with a whisper, with a plan that involved your name, your photo, and something you touched daily. They knew you would not suspect it. They used familiarity as a weapon, and now your body is already beginning to respond to it, but you haven't fully noticed it yet. Michael says, the next 5 days are critical. If we don't interrupt this pattern now, you will be in a place of sterile walls and machines beeping. A hospital room you were never meant to visit. But heaven is moving fast. God is not allowing this plan to succeed. But you must do your part, and that begins by facing this truth. God says, do not panic, but don't be casual either. You must revisit the recent days. Someone brought something into your space. A bottle, a scent, a meal, a powder, a substance meant to help but created to manipulate your health. They did it with a smile. They said, this is good for you. But they lied. They were paid by someone else. They were instructed to do this. Their conscience struggled, but their greed won. Michael says, you were chosen for this attack because of your divine connection. Your prayers disturb dark forces. Your voice in the spirit realm shakes demonic chains off other people. And they wanted to shut you down silently, not publicly, not with drama, but quietly so they could say later, oh, it must have been their health. But that's a lie. This isn't about your health. It's about a war in the spirit realm. God says you are not dying, but they wanted you weak, confused, doubting yourself, questioning your body, missing divine timing, canceling important meetings, lying down when you were meant to rise up. And worst of all, they wanted to delay your destiny until it expires. But my word over your life will not expire. I will now rise in your defense. Michael says, this is your activation moment. The moment where you cancel what was planted, the moment where heaven rewrites your physical fate. This is not magic. This is divine authority. But authority must be used. If you ignore this, if you forget this, the dark forces will press forward. But if you rise now, heaven will slam the door shut on this plan so hard that the sound will echo into hell. God says in the next 3 hours you must do 3 things. First, cleanse your atmosphere. Open your windows. Speak aloud and declare, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Anything planted in my environment, in my food, in my body must leave now by fire and by force in Jesus' name. Say it with strength, not fear. You have authority. Michael continues, second, recall what was introduced into your space without your full understanding. A supplement, a gift, a health item. Do not trust it blindly. If your body has reacted strangely after using or consuming anything, stop it now. You don't need to be paranoid. You need to be wise. This was spiritual warfare disguised as care. God says, third, pray Psalm 91 aloud tonight. It is not just a psalm. It is a weapon, a declaration, a shield. When spoken by faith, it activates heaven's codes. Every word is a sword, every verse is a wall. You shall not fear the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that lays waste at noonday, because I am your refuge. Michael says 5 days. That's the window the enemy was given. But heaven has now reduced it to 0 because you opened this, because you're reading this. Because you are not ignoring anymore. The plan is breaking right now. The evil liquid, the contaminated item, the manipulated chemical, it's being neutralized. The blood of Jesus is flushing it out. God says, you are mine. I have plans for you. Your testimony is not over. In fact, the next 40 days were meant to be the greatest turning point of your life. Financially, spiritually, in relationships, but the enemy saw it. They sent a counter plan, and you nearly didn't see it, but now you do. Michael says, there is someone who knows the full truth, someone who helped deliver this plan. But they're feeling the weight of guilt. And in the next 24 hours, they will either confess or disappear from your life. Don't chase. Don't beg. Don't panic. Let them go. Let them remove themselves. God is doing cleanup. God says there are angels right now placing spiritual shields around your bloodstream, around your lungs, around your digestive system, around your nervous system. You will feel something tonight. Either a heat in your body or a deep sleep like you haven't felt in weeks. That's me restoring what they tried to dismantle. Michael says, I wept when I saw what they did to your name in the spirit realm. They passed it around in demonic circles. They spoke curses over you. But those curses are broken, nullified, deleted. You are rising. You are protected. And those who tried to harm you will now face divine consequence. God says you are not cursed. You are not sick. You are under divine reconstruction. Your body will respond. Your skin will glow again. Your eyes will regain clarity. Your steps will feel lighter. The heaviness will lift and your discernment will sharpen. This was an attempt to blind you, spiritually. But now you will see clearer than ever. Michael says, I am placing a firewall around your home, around your room, around your bed, around your food. Nothing can enter without divine clearance. This isn't superstition. This is heavenly intelligence. When you carry God's light, darkness always tries to creep in. But this time it failed. God says in the next 7 days you will receive news, an apology, a revelation, a confession. Someone will come forward. Don't gloat, don't hate. Just listen. Forgive and let me deal with them. Your focus must remain on your healing, your mission, and your rise. Michael says, you were almost hospitalized. You were almost silenced. But heaven said no. Heaven said enough. Heaven said intervene now. And so I did. I'm here. I'm fighting for you. And now you must believe it. God says, watch your dreams over the next 3 nights. I will speak to you there. You will see a symbol, a person, a door. And a name, take it seriously. Write it down. This is your divine road map, your way out, your confirmation, your protection. Michael says, tell no one about this message unless the Spirit prompts you. This was not meant for many. It was meant for you. Be still. Stay hidden. Pray, cleanse, and rise. God says, I am not done with you. I am only beginning. But I had to interrupt this attack before it fully formed. You are not sick. You are under divine renovation. Let me work. Michael says, you opened this in time, your obedience shifted your outcome. Your destiny has been unblocked. And now I will stand guard at your door once again. You are not alone. You were never alone. Just remember this. 5 days became none because you listened. And now heaven waits for your next move. Let it be prayer. God says, Archangel Michael says, this is very serious. Do not ignore this. I order you to open this right now. Be careful. You are about to be hospitalized in the next 5 days because someone poured something into your food, your drink, your cup, or something you touched with full trust. God says your body felt strange lately because of it. You thought it was just tiredness, but no, it was not tiredness. It was not stress. It was not something that happened accidentally. What you felt was not random. Your body was warning you. God says you were under divine protection. But even that protection was shaken when this individual decided to go that far. God is revealing now that this was not just jealousy. It was silent hatred wearing a friendly face. If you'd like to donate or show your appreciation, you can give a super thanks up to $100. Archangel Michael says you need to stay alert in the next 5 days. There was an energy around your space that didn't belong to God. There were movements behind your back that you didn't notice. Someone was watching how you move, when you eat, what you drink, and what you ignore. They waited. They studied. And then they made their move. They mixed something they should never have touched. They tampered with what God had given you for strength and nourishment. Now your body is showing the signs. The dizziness, the confusion, the sudden fatigue, the strange pressure in your chest or behind your eyes. The numbness in your fingers or legs. The moments where you forget what you were doing. The pain in your stomach. You know something is wrong. Heaven confirms it now. God says you trusted them because you didn't think they were capable of this. You had dreams before that tried to warn you. You woke up sweating. You forgot the details, but the spirit was crying out. Even then you saw yourself in a hospital bed in a dream. You heard someone calling your name but you couldn't reply. You saw someone crying beside your bed. You saw a shadowy figure walking away and you ignored it. But now the vision is aligning with reality. Archangel Michael says, that was not a nightmare. That was a prophetic vision. It was a cry from heaven telling you, wake up now or it will be too late. You were not supposed to eat that thing. You were not supposed to sip that drink. You were not supposed to accept that little gesture of hospitality. But you did it because your heart is innocent. You still believed in their smile. You still thought they cared. But they do not. God says they faked their love. They watched you silently as you grew. They smiled while plotting your downfall. And now they have done something that has triggered a divine alarm in heaven. Michael says he has drawn his sword and stood at the gate of your room because what they tried to do will not go unanswered. A mighty investigation has already begun in the spirit realm, but you need to do your part now. Stop drinking or eating anything that comes from hands you haven't fully discerned. Be cautious about what you accept, even from familiar faces, especially from familiar faces. They disguise themselves in trust, but move like serpents. God says, this is not paranoia. This is protection. I saw what they did. I watched them as they poured the thing into your cup. I watched as they looked back twice to make sure no one saw them. I watched the satisfaction in their eyes. I watched them think, this will finally stop their progress. This will finally silence them. And I allowed it only because I had a greater plan to expose them, to reveal their identity to you so clearly that you can never doubt again. They smiled as they handed it to you. But I watched their hand tremble, not from fear, but from hatred that had finally found a release. They didn't think you'd notice. They thought you'd just collapse quietly, but now the truth has come forth and now you must act. Michael says, even if you feel better today, the effect is slow releasing. That's what makes it dangerous. It's not something that acts fast. It's something designed to make you feel weaker each day until you are forced to see a doctor. And even then the tests might not show it clearly because it was not ordinary. It was cursed. Someone whispered words over it before, handing it to you. And those words carried venom that was spiritual and physical. The enemy didn't just attack your body. They tried to silence your purpose. They hoped that in your hospital bed, you'd be too weak to speak. Too weak to pray, too weak to move. But Michael says you must now pray like never before. You must command the angelic army to burn every spiritual toxin in your system. God says, speak these words loudly. I do not agree with any poison sent against me. I cancel it now in the name of God. My body belongs to the Lord. No weapon, no liquid, no meal formed against me shall prosper. Amen. Michael says, repeat this again before sleep and after waking for the next 5 days. You must drink only what is clean and prepared by your own hand. If not, skip it. Let your body be cleansed. Let your soul be sealed again. You have 5 days. 5 days to break the cycle. 5 days to block the hospitalization. 5 days to stop what was meant to destroy you. You still have time, but you must not delay. Heaven has sent this message not as a scare, but as a rescue. God says you have a powerful destiny and this was designed to stop it. You think your calling is small. But the enemy knows how great it is. That is why they chose such a method. It's quiet. It's sneaky. It's untraceable. But it's effective. Unless you cancel it now. That is why I am speaking. That is why Archangel Michael has stepped into your room. That is why your ears are ringing right now. That is why you feel like someone is watching you, because they are. Heaven is watching you closely. The angels are waiting for your command. Don't be silent. Archangel Michael says, the one who did this thinks you'll never find out. They are already planning to act surprised when you start feeling sick. They've rehearsed what they will say. Oh no, what happened? You were just fine. They've practiced their shock in the mirror. But I tell you now, their mask is about to fall. They left a clue behind, something that doesn't belong in your kitchen. A cup, a spoon, a lid, a piece of foil, a napkin. Look closely. God says you will see it with new eyes now. The thing you thought was harmless, it's not. Michael says they visited you recently or they left something behind on purpose and you didn't think twice, but now you must because this is life or death. This is not just about you being tired. This is not just about a headache. This is about someone saying, if I can't win, I'll make sure they lose, but God has stepped in. Michael says, I have placed a shield over your bed tonight. I have placed a warrior at your door. But you must not delay in obeying this message. Cancel the attack. Speak against it. Don't touch what they gave you again. Clean your cups. Wash your plates. Anoint your room. Purge your space. God says this isn't the first time they tried. This is attempt number 3. The first 2 failed quietly. This one almost succeeded, but heaven sounded the alarm. You are being pulled into a battle not because you are weak, but because your calling is strong. You are marked as a target because your voice carries power. Your spirit intimidates their demons. Your growth threatens their comfort and they want you silenced before you become unstoppable. But they are too late. God says you have read this message and now you are awakened. Archangel Michael says they will act friendly again soon. They might even cry, but do not be deceived. Those tears are not repentance. They are panic because they know something is wrong, they know you're not responding the same. They sense that the divine is exposing them. And they're right. God is exposing them. And you will never eat from their hand again. You will never sip from their offering again. You will never walk blindly again. God says, I'm restoring your health. I'm purifying your blood. I'm detoxifying your spirit. I'm removing the residue of what they sent. But I am also revealing their face to you clearly. You will not need to guess anymore, you will know. In the next dream, you will see them. They will try to hide their face in the dream, but I will uncover it. And when you wake, you will remember. Even if it's someone close, even if it's someone who calls you dear. Do not fear the truth. Embrace it. Michael says, you must fast from their presence. You must disconnect at least for now. You must guard yourself like royalty because you are divine royalty and heaven cannot allow royalty to be poisoned. This is your moment of awakening, do not waste it. Take it seriously. This is your final warning before the damage becomes visible to others. You still have a chance to cancel it completely. Pray tonight. Burn incense. Anoint your stomach, your throat, your lips. Ask God to flush every drop of poison, spiritual or physical, from your system. Declare your temple holy and watch as the toxins begin to leave. Watch as your energy returns. Watch as your clarity is restored. Watch as your enemy begins to stumble. God says, I will deal with the one who did this. You don't need revenge. You need restoration. Let me handle the judgment. Your job is to obey. Protect your body. Protect your soul. Protect your space. You were not created to suffer silently. You were created to shine. And that's exactly what you will do after this moment passes. Michael says you are safe, but only if you act. Now is the time. Begin the cleansing. Begin the prayer. Begin the detachment and do not go back. You have 5 days to stop what was sent to destroy you, and by the power of heaven you will survive. God says I love you too much to stay silent. That's why you're reading this now. Do not ignore this. This is the warning before the shift. This is the final call before the turning point. Obey it and live. Delay it and suffer. Choose wisely. I have given you the truth. I have given you Michael. I have given you time. Now use it. Michael says, I am standing by your side tonight. I will not leave until the danger is gone. But you must meet me halfway, speak the words. Clean your space. Protect your cup. And trust God because the war is already won. Now step into your healing. Archangel Michael says this is very serious and you must not ignore this. I order you to open this right now, not tomorrow, not later, not when it's convenient. Right now, something is unfolding in the invisible realm that directly concerns your body, your spirit, and your destiny. You are walking into something without realizing the full weight of what has been planned around you. There is a shift coming in the next 5 days. And if you do not listen to this message, you could find yourself in a place of crisis that could have been prevented. I am not here to scare you. I am here to save you. Be careful. The signs have already begun. You've been feeling something strange in your body, in your chest, in your mind. Maybe dizziness, maybe heaviness, maybe emotional exhaustion you can't explain. That's not random. That's not your imagination. That's spiritual interference. You must hear me. You are being targeted. Someone poured something into your atmosphere. Into your food, your drink, your home, your spirit. It wasn't just a physical action. It was spiritual poison. You didn't even realize it. It came from someone who smiled in your face, someone you trusted, someone you maybe even loved. But behind that smile was a hand dipped in jealousy. Behind that kindness was an energy laced with envy, control, or desperation. They wanted to slow you down. They wanted to disable you. They wanted to interfere with your movement, with your clarity, with your freedom. But they didn't know that God sees everything. And God is now stepping in. You have exactly 5 days. This is not a countdown to fear. It's a countdown to awareness. To alertness, to intervention. If you trust God and follow what is being shown to you now, not only will you avoid this hospitalization, but you will also begin the greatest recovery your body and soul have ever known. God says, I have seen the attack, I have seen the setup, and I am canceling it, but you must align with this message. That means no more brushing off what your body is trying to tell you. No more ignoring the warnings in your dreams. No more saying, I'm probably overthinking. No, you are not overthinking. You are being awakened. Your angels have been whispering to you at night in moments of stillness. Through conversations you barely noticed, through strange encounters that left you wondering what was that about. Heaven has been trying to speak, and now I, Archangel Michael, have come forward because your life matters. You are not meant to be in a hospital bed. You are not meant to suffer needlessly, but the enemy is trying to put you there through exhaustion, through anxiety, through chemical interference, through spiritual manipulation. God says, I will not let that happen if you trust me now. Start praying immediately. Don't wait. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. God, I need you. God, I don't know who to trust. God, show me what's hidden. God, remove what's not for me. God, if someone is near me and doesn't have good intentions, expose them. Remove them. Protect me. Heal me. Strengthen me. That's all it takes. Heaven responds to the honest cries of the humble heart. And you, yes, you are being called to cry out right now. In these 5 days, God will begin to show you things that are uncomfortable. Don't ignore them. You might see someone's mask fall off. You might overhear a conversation that reveals what's been said behind your back. You might feel urged to throw something away, an object, a food item, a gift that has carried bad energy into your space. Trust those nudges. Trust the sudden feelings to cleanse your space, detox your body, or even distance yourself from someone. That's not paranoia. That's spiritual intelligence rising. The Holy Spirit is increasing your sensitivity. Your discernment is being activated because what was poured into your life was meant to make you weak, confused, and distracted. But God is turning it around. In fact, what was meant to destroy you will now be used to deliver you. The poison they poured into your life, whether physical or energetic, will not take root. But you must detox your spirit now. Detox your heart from bitterness. Detox your home from chaos. Detox your circle from secrecy. If you stay silent now, if you let fear silence your soul, the next 5 days could become heavy. You might find yourself overwhelmed. You might even feel sick emotionally or physically. But if you speak, if you act, if you respond to this divine alert, a supernatural wave of protection will cover you like never before. Archangel Michael says, there is still time. There is still hope, but the urgency is real. Heaven doesn't speak lightly. God doesn't send warnings without reason. You have already noticed signs. Maybe a glass cracked for no reason. Maybe electronics malfunctioned around you. Maybe you felt watched or unsettled or suddenly anxious in places that used to feel safe. Maybe you've had a sudden urge to clean, throw things away, shift the furniture, open the windows, burn incense, or pray more. These are not coincidences. These are reactions to something spiritually embedded in your space. Someone left a spiritual fingerprint on your energy. But the hand of God is stronger. God says, you are mine, and I will not let the enemy take you out. Not through illness, not through stress, not through betrayal, not through burnout. The hospitalization the enemy planned will now become a holy visitation. A moment where you are flooded with peace instead of panic. Where you are wrapped in angelic light instead of white hospital sheets. Where you are renewed instead of reduced. But only if you trust and obey this divine interruption. Change your habits now. Hydrate. Eat with intention. Speak blessings over your body. Walk in peace. Speak only what you want to live. Your words are spells. If you say, I feel like I'm falling apart, your cells respond. But if you say, I am being healed, your body realigns with heaven. God designed you with power in your voice. Archangel Michael reminds you that your protection is already in motion, but your participation unlocks miracles. Speak life. Speak light. Speak health. Speak recovery. Do not confront the person who caused this. Do not try to expose them yourself. That is not your job. That is God's territory. What you must do now is separate spiritually. You must step back and let heaven judge the hearts. You may not know who exactly did this yet, but God does. And He is already removing them from access to you. You will notice strange silences, cancellations, delays that keep them away. Do not resist that. That is protection in disguise. Some connections are being cut behind the scenes because God loves you too much to let this continue. There is a reason your soul is being stirred by this message. It's because your spirit already knew it was coming, that something was off. That something didn't feel right. That you were being slowed down for a reason. You've been tired, not just from physical exhaustion, but from unseen warfare.